Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the Curse Podcast. I am JB here, joined by Kylo and a new guest here who's never been on the show before. His name is Talis. Talis, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm a rat.
Hey, welcome
I'm a
to
literal rat.
the spooky zone here. Was it like 3 years ago that Kylo and we started this show here on the Foundry?
Yes, it has, and
Damn.
it's come a very long way.
Yeah.
It took quite the hiatus, but we're back. Thankfully, we're back.
Yeah, we're finally back. We'd like to say thank you guys so much for all your patience out there. We've been gone for quite some time on this show, and there are probably a lot of new people here on this channel as well. Maybe on the Twitch and the Discord and everything like that. But we do a kind of a bi-weekly spooky paranormal podcast where we just talk about random topics, and it's kind of a comical thing as well. There's some little bit serious bits in there, but you know what? A lot of jokes are, of course, welcome. But yeah, so this is going to be probably new to a lot of people. So if you're watching this, you are definitely on the right channel. This is definitely the Foundry. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. But Talis, you wanna tell all these people what we're gonna be investigating today? We are gonna crown you. We're gonna knight you of your paranormal investigator. We're gonna give you some nice fucking Ray-Ban shades, put them on, and you're gonna be an investigator just like me and just like Kyle. It's like the FBI windbreaker. You're gonna be knighted pretty much. Are you ready?
Can I be Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures?
I never watched that fucking garbage show. This is the real
How
Ghost
could
Adventures there.
you?
These are real Ghost Adventures right here. So none of that fake bullshit, none of that dumb reality TV. All right, this is real investigating. We all have reputations we need to withstand and withhold. But I want to tell everybody here. What are we checking out?
La Llorona, which is translating to the weeping woman.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
this is a viewer request that someone left from one of the very few patient people.
That's- I think it's dead meat from a forest video.
Nice.
I remember one of them seeing one of them.
Did you guys talk about it in one of the forest videos or something?
No, it was just.
Was someone just
It was
yelling
requested.
and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's probably Talis?
We were like crying.
No.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I'm really excited about this reading. Like I knew a little bit about this topic and stuff, and I'm really excited. We got our notes ready, you guys. Unfortunately, we're not doing this in person like how we're kind of used to, but you know what? That's okay. We may get back into that eventually. We might have to get Talis in here, bring him up from the sewer, from his little rat. What is so funny? What, a rat on surface level? I don't think so, man. Come on, get fucking real. Get real.
Michelangelo has something to say. I'm teaching 4 turtles right now.
Oh, is that more Ghost Adventures lore? I don't give a fuck.
Hold on.
Alrighty. But yeah, we're not gonna waste any more of you guys' time. Talis is gonna waste any more of my fucking time. Isn't that right, buddy?
Nah, man.
Alright, he's gonna stop doing the references that I don't understand or give a shit about. But Kylo, ready, partner?
Yes, sir.
All
So, basically, the whole aspect of La Llorona, of course, is like Kyle said, she's the weeping woman in the Hispanic American folklore legend, whatnot, and she is a vengeful spirit that hangs out by the waterfront.
Yeah, so I think it's known in some religions and I guess like it just regions and Mexico and some Latinx cultures that like it's like to be good to your family or else kind of thing. It's like back in the day, like you got a lot of
Yeah.
mythologies that explain how just normal things, they just explain like why the sun rises and why the sun sets as well. And it's just like one of those things where it's just like a spooky bedtime story you tell to your kids and tell to your family as well to treat your family good, to be morally correct and morally in the right. And it's just one of those stories, and where it originates from is actually pretty interesting because I saw that it goes back pretty damn far, way further than I thought. In my head, I had some cocoa shit in my head, That's, like, I don't know if that's me being racist as fuck, but I had some cocoa shit in my head, and they're like, oh yeah, it actually could go as far back as conquistadors. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound very cool at all.
I didn't even know there's a song called La Llorona in Coco. And I hate that fucking movie. So
You hate Coco?
uh,
Why?
yes, I hate Coco.
All right, hang on a minute. Pause. What
I
the
don't
fuck
like
is?
watching.
Why don't you
I
like
don't
Coco?
like.
Yeah, what's wrong with Coco, dude?
I don't know. I just don't like musicals and shit like that.
So is that like
Uh,
most of the Disney movies?
Yeah, most of
Oh,
them.
yeah, I don't like him either, but I fucking love Coco, dude.
That's why Ratatouille is like one of the best in the world because you don't see songs like playing.
You're a little biased, but I'm not gonna go into that right
Yeah,
now. But
it's like a documentary.
so long ago, a woman by the name of Maria was married to a. This is how there's different variations of the story, so feel free to chime in, tell your different versions and stuff like that. There's a woman by the name of Maria. She was married to a rich man. She eventually had 2 children with him, you know, and eventually, you know, their marriage hit hard times. You know, like every relationship, they hit hard times, a rough patch. But instead of working it out, she went. She was a little spiteful, like you said, vengeful spirit. There's a reason for that. So apparently, as time went on, they grew apart. He started to spend more and more time away from the home, and when he was home, he was only paying attention to the kids, and he was definitely neglecting his wife, Maria. And at some point, Maria caught him cheating with another gal, and she's like, "What the fuck, dude? Our marriage, our children, our family. Like, how dare you turn your back on us? You know?" This is actually one of the versions of the story. The other versions is that she's like batshit insane, like. I'd say like the split on her vengefulness is definitely on her fault, and the other one is like mainly because of the man's fault as well.
But
So and
I don't know.
and I don't know why, but she was so angry to get back at her husband. So what does she do? Like kill the whore or him? No. What does she do? Murders her kids. She takes her kids down to the river, goes for a dip at midnight, and she's like, throws in their swim trunks, and she just fucking takes their fucking little heads and fucking shoves them underneath the fucking water, you know? Little Timmy and little Sally she's got them both fucking hands on each side of the head and just fucking hold them underneath the water. They're sitting there fighting, splashing around and shit, and they're just fucking murder the shit out of her kids. Or Kyler called it, what was that, something side?
Infanticide.
What? This is funny to you? This is funny to you? This is a laughing matter?
Serious.
This is that's disgusting.
Okay, so here's the part that's funny to me, and here's a little split version of like how this like goes after all of that.
Why it's
Okay,
funny
so,
to me.
like afterwards, in like one of the other stories, like she tries to resuscitate her kids, and like she's just there, like, oh no, what have I done? Oh no, what have I done? And so what does she do? What does she do? She jumps into the fucking like river and just kills herself. Then finally, I'm gonna see my kids, and then of course, like you know, people that commit infanticide, like reasonably, would not go to heaven and like see their kids that they just drowned. So like, you're gonna be trapped in purgatory.
Yeah.
And
So
vengeful spirit. That's
vengeful
one of the
spirit as fuck here. So yeah, you can like look at there are just so many cases, so many accounts, so many reports of people seeing this girl, of people just be hanging out with their family. You know, like it's crazy how many sightings and stuff like that you see. But like it is such a vague like story as well, like a description that people like will kind of talk about. So there's a report of a young boy by the name of Patricio. And his family saw her on a creek in New Mexico as their family was sitting outside talking. You know, they're just chilling. And they saw a tall, thin woman walking along the creek, and she seemed to float over the water, apparently. And she started up a hill and then vanished. And moments later, she reappeared much closer to them and just disappeared once again. And there's just like loads of stories like that where they just see her all over the place. And Talis has went ahead. You've got some videos to show us as well.
Yeah.
So maybe some
Yeah, I
closer
got you.
encounters. But yeah, there's some like possible or talk about Mexican gods and goddesses as well as Aztec culture as well, how far it goes back. There's just I'd say like it's just very spooky, you know, very very spooky Mexican curses that we heading to with this. As you can see, I think this is from like Aztec literature. If you see that figure I posted a couple hours earlier today, boys, of the drawing. And apparently that is a weeping woman who appeared in 1509 in the Tenochtitlan. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I think that's Aztec literature. So like a figure that was drawn.
She's kind of hot.
Yeah. That's her, the weeping woman. So maybe you should be a little respectful. She just lost 2 kids, hence the tears.
It's all
Granted, she did kill them, so.
like any normal parents going through divorce. Yeah, let me kill the kids who had nothing to do with it. Yeah,
So
here,
he's
little Timmy.
like, weekends or what? He's like, nothing.
Neither. I don't get what's in your mindset. Yeah, kill the people who weren't fucking a part of that. Yeah, okay.
Which is such a disgusting story because like kids and media and stuff like that are seem to be very innocent, you know, and pure.
God damn.
And so she kills the innocent and pure, and that's why she roams Earth still, like weeping woman forever, feeling that pain of losing her children. And it said that she comes after families, she comes after men who have cheated, like women neglecting their children as well, kind of perhaps like leaning towards the same fate as her. So that's it kind of dials it back into an actual like folklore legend. And when we selected this, I honestly thought it was like a specific case, you know, like a not really a cryptid, but like a popular ghost sighting, but definitely turned more into when you go back into folklore, like when you don't have a specific sighting, you know, like, oh, it came back from this date, you know. I kind of dial it back and I'm like, okay, well, this obviously isn't that real if it just turns into folklore that people just tell to as stories to their children and stuff.
But still, some of the mythologies and stuff like that are kind of interesting that revolve around it. I actually have quite a list here of like different things that are kind of attributed or like similar connections to the case of La Llorona.
Yeah,
and
so
whatnot.
so you
Like,
think like it's maybe like this religion's like version of it, but like it's just misidentified.
okay, so like it dabbles into religion, like some of the stories do, and like some of them like dabble into like certain times and stuff like that. Like in the Aztec mythology, like you said, I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but it's like Chicacaltol or whatever, but her name is the Snake Woman, and she's the goddess, one of the many goddesses of motherhood and fertility and stuff like that. And so there's a story about her, and this is kind of why there's like a little bit of a connection between La Llorona and her. So she was the mother of a god called Mixicotol, like the god of the hunt, I believe is what he was. And one day she decided to abandon him at a crossroads, and like many years later, feeling regret, she like tries to come back to try to find her child, and in the place of her child she just finds like a sacrificial knife, and thusly becoming like a weeping woman trying to find her child at that same crossroads
Just
through
forever
What the
losing her
fuck?
child.
yep, basically. So there's like a little bit of a connection there with like La Llorona and stuff like that. I tried dabbling and like searching stuff like with religion and whatnot. I know like apparently like some philosophers like made a connection with like the Hebrew mythology and stuff like that with Lilith and Eve and stuff like that.
Really? Hebrew.
Yeah, I kept trying. It was such a fucking like long thing. I kept trying to get to like the point where like it actually had some sort of resemblance with La Llorona. I could not find one, but like there was some connection there. I guess I had to write that down. I thought beside that, one of the most interesting parts to me was the story of the demigoddess Lamia in Greek mythology, which is quite fascinating, honestly. So the story goes that like Zeus's wife, Hera, caught wind that Lamia and Zeus were cheating, basically.
Banging. Yeah, he was
Well, yeah,
banging.
Zeus was cheating on Hera.
Zeus was an
So,
incestual
bad.
bastard, man. He was a dog.
So here's what happens. So to get back at Zeus for cheating on Hera, Hera decides to kill all the kids Lamia and Zeus had.
Nice.
And so like this is where it gets a little confusing, but kind of funny too. So out of like vengefulness and like spite, like Lamia decides to like go out and like become like the weeping woman and like kills any woman's kids and stuff like that. Yeah, so like basically
her.
a story kind of like reversed on me. I thought it was very interesting. I thought like Hera was going to be the one that became the weeping woman, but like Lamia is the one that had her kids like killed, and then she goes around killing other people's kids. Very
What's the point like of that story to where like my children were murdered, now I will go murder other children? I'm like at one point where you're like, I'm the villain. Why? How far do you need to take it to where I'm the villain?
What's
I don't get that. Yeah, I talked about like you said, there's might be some Aztec connection. Or you talked about the snake woman. Is that what you called her?
That's what I cannot pronounce her name at all. But
No,
that's
it's like Chala. Yeah, it's a long word. We'll We'll probably put it up on the screen for you guys. Yeah, we'll see if Kyler remembers to edit that in. He'll have this episode. Anyways, there's also talk that this woman who served as Hernan Cortez's interpreter and bore his son.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's really interesting because like the conquistadors also like they've always fascinated me, and apparently that's like a separate myth or legend known as La Malinche, which I'm sure I'm fucking all of this up, and I'm kind of glad Sly's not here because he would be rolling it like right now. He'd be
I don't know
furious.
how to say either.
Yeah. But obviously Sly is just definitely like 10 times more Mexican than you are, so that's why.
I
Yeah,
don't care.
there's early traces all the way back to 1550, like in Mexico City. Like I already showed you the weeping woman. Yeah, so she apparently wears a white gown, roams rivers and creeks, wailing into the night, searching for children to drag screaming to a watery grave, implying that she also like drowns children. Yeah, her tales
She
of
can also
cruelty.
be found, be wet.
Yeah, she's
wet.
like dripping. Yeah, I guess it just depends on the legend. Like we've talked about different stuff. Like Kylo's already talked about like Greek mythology all the way to like some Aztec culture. So it's really interesting, like how far this expands. But I think it's just like it's probably just a made up story that was based off something, some awful experience. It's just to warn people to like take care of your children or else, or take care of your family or else, like. Because I guess
Good
back
one.
then there's no accountability for men or women or anything like that, just to not abandon their children, like we have today. Right.
Well,
Well,
I have a real life report of some Mexican woman attempting to kill her 7 children in Houston, Texas.
was she an octopus? How's she gonna hold down
1986.
all their heads at once? What the
Oh,
fuck?
no.
But they fight back and kill her.
Her eighth
Yeah.
hand's holding down her head too.
Yeah, but when she gave an interview, she was declaring that she was La Llorona.
What? That's crazy. Do we
Yeah.
have an interview or a photo?
No, but
All right. Well,
post Kylo will probably add
well,
that in a little bit.
Kyler, we'll talk about this later, and we asked you to do a decent amount of research and whatnot. But sorry, I can do this on the fly right now to where I can look at it. La Llorona octopus lady.
There's also a variation. I don't know if there's any stories with that, but it's her with the horse head.
I'm getting all fucking movies. Fucking stupid.
That's movies.
No, it's just all the movies I'm getting instead.
Oh.
Because everyone's like, oh yeah, the movie. And I'm like, I didn't even know there was a movie.
Yeah,
I
that's a Conjuring movie.
Is
Isn't
it?
that what we're doing
Yes.
Oh, the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
right now? Oh man, I think I'm in the wrong thing.
I think I'm editing the wrong thing right now too.
Oh shit. I think one of my favorite variations is that in Arizona, instead of the husband cheating, he disappeared from his job.
Like Coco.
So
I'm just kidding.
are you kidding me?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so she started getting crazy from starvation with her 2 children. But
How do you
instead,
give up that badly at life? You're like, oh, where's my
I don't
husband?
know,
I better stop eating, y'all. It's like, no, you can still eat. Like, not without my husband's permission. I really need him to come home so he can allow me to eat. Like, are you fucking joking me?
No one's allowed to touch their food until Dad gets back.
They're all
No.
at the dinner table becoming skeletons.
oh fuck.
That's good. That's pretty
Um,
good.
She didn't drown them. She chopped them up in pieces and then threw them in a
What?
river.
Oh my god.
And so it said that the entire shed in her dress was covered in blood. After realizing that, she dropped to her knees and cried out loud for the deaths that she just caused.
Oh my
And then she died of
god.
starvation around the Riverbank. And this is actually real life place. It's in it's called Slaughterhouse Canyon in Arizona. And there's this little building.
Do you have a like a when that was, like a time frame?
It just says 1800s.
1800s. Whoa, Slaughterhouse Canyon. That sounds actually like pretty spooky, haunted.
Yeah. Here, I'll throw up a picture.
Slaughterhouse
there.
Canyon. Ooh, yeah, look at that shack. That's spooky right there. Oh man, that is so old and cool right there with the graffiti.
I love shit like that.
Yeah, that's terrifying right there. That's pretty good.
I think that's my favorite variation. She just couldn't chop them up instead of just
the
letting them
most
drown.
violent one too. You're like, that's my favorite, the most violent one.
Oh,
Therapy
man.
doll 64. Okay, so we got a video here on YouTube.com that we're gonna look at here. From the top 5 unknowns. Were we just gonna watch this whole video together?
It's a dude going over some, but I guess we could skip to the parts where they're actual videos without any voiceovers.
Or we can just holy fuck, this is long.
The first one's fake as hell, but go to room.
You've got real evidence right here that the real La Llorona, what we've been talking about, real sighting, not
Real
just a
crying.
photo, not just a photo,
No.
but video.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this better not disappoint. Let's check it out, you guys.
There's a witch.
I was about to say it's like the audio of the witch from Left 4 Dead 2.
That's fucking funny. Flashlights off. Is that her out there?
It's dark as shit. I can't see.
La
Oh,
Llorona's thing's
there
going
we
down.
go.
Huh?
That was a.
That was the witch.
Mm-hmm.
The top comment is from a year ago. Lord, please protect me and anyone from the evil that could be lurking in this video. Bless everyone.
Hello, I am Mercy.
Instinct Jose, what do you got going on here, man? On your channel, he's got a Naruto Lil Uzi profile picture.
Shit,
Let me take a look real quick.
okay.
This last upload is from 2 years ago. PewDiePie hitting 100 million.
Oh my God, Jesus himself is in the comment
Of
section.
Nazareth.
Right
Holy shit. No, that's interesting. Yeah, in the video you can clearly see someone like kind of walking around, but yeah, it just seems like someone kind of whimpering around. Like there have been many times where I've seen like some spooky shit in the middle of the night, you know? Like I'm always out at nighttime. Like I was driving home from work at like 4 a.m. one night, and there I am like driving home, and there is a girl on the other side of the road, like in the middle of the fucking road, like I'd say maybe 2 feet away from my car. You know, thankfully I wasn't going very fast, but like just walking like towards me, but like on the other side of the road, just in the middle of the road, like at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, you know, wearing like a white like kind of mini skirt, you know, obviously not weeping, but like there's just weird shit like that all the time. But like I think because we've got like the heebie-jeebies, and maybe like there's just a difference, you know, between like the cultures as well. There's that cultural difference, so it comes off a little bit more spooky and unfamiliar.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
But yeah, that's terrifying to be like that in person and like just look out the door and hear that crying. Like I wouldn't go to the door. I wouldn't even be filming. I'd be locking it up with a double barrel, like on my, just waiting for them to come through. I'd have like every cross in the house.
The fucking door just to blow your fucking head. Or wait, I think you and I are on 2 different pages.
Yeah, do you want to end up like her? You're gonna go to heaven. You're gonna be like, you committed infanticide, and like, excuse me.
Nah, man, that ain't me.
You got the weeping gravedigger at your door now, trying to drag you down to his grave.
So there's maybe you've ever heard of it. Maybe like screams in the night. I saw some explanation was that like you might hear screams in the middle of the woods. Well, that might be a panther, a lion, or a ghost.
Maybe even a ghost. Like there's a lot of like screams I hear. Like some nights we think that like it's maybe an animal, like, or like a predator catching an animal or something like that. Because like I have like foxes and coyotes near where I live.
Yeah, those screams are.
Yeah, they're like wretched. They're like actually genuinely like kind of scary. You're like, oh my god. So that stuff is pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Like based off the evidence here today, like we do on every single episode of the Curse Podcast, we come down to a decision from these experts, and we get to tell you what we think, if we believe, well, our subject is real or not. So when it comes down to La Llorona, guys, do we think that she at one point existed, or that there's a curse out there of a weeping woman dragging people to their grave, inspiring people to be afraid and not fuck up their families? What do you guys think?
In Texas, yes. Houston, Texas.
hang on a fucking minute.
Specifically.
Why specifically Houston, Texas?
That one lady, the tentacle.
Oh, that
tentacle,
one specific girl.
Yep.
When was that?
1986.
1986. Oh, she probably heard the story. She's probably not actually like,
She's a viewer.
Yeah, she probably watches. She's probably like a fan. Like
Yes.
like an imitator. Exactly.
That one existed, but like the folklore, maybe not.
Yeah,
Haven't seen her.
I think that's true. I don't believe in her. Like based off the evidence, I was expecting a little bit more proof. Honestly, going through it, I was a little disappointed how it's just like, oh, here's your proof. An Aztec culture 700 years ago. I'm like, oh, okay. let me check my sources on that one.
I think it works well, though, as a story. Sorry, as a story that you tell kids to stay away from like rivers and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. To not go out in the middle of nighttime and shit. I agree.
Hey, hold my mic side real quick, John. Hey, Talis, you want to come by the river with me real quick?
I'll go right now.
I'll show you guys something real quick. What do you think, Kyler? Do you think La Llorona? What do you think?
Well, I believe at some point, I don't know when. I'm sure there's multiple accounts of mother drowned her children in some sort of riverbed or something like that. But looking at different sort of mythologies and stuff like that, how a story can be spun and kind of repeated and like, revised, rewritten in different sort of campfire settings and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really believe in it, but like I said, I'm sure at some point, like maybe someone saw that happening or something like that, and they're like, La Llorona.
Yeah, like the curse of maybe Maria was a real thing, and like they stumbled upon her like after murdering her children, and it's like the weeping woman, like there she was weeping by the riverbank over her dead children because of her husband. I think that story could be very true, but like her going around as a ghost, as a vengeful spirit, killing other. I mean, like we don't have any evidence or any reports of like, oh, these children were taken or these like children are missing because of La Llorona. Like there's nothing of that. Like there's no concrete anything besides just story. Like, story. Just story time. That's about it.
Story.
Some fairy tales. But hey, like it was an interesting topic. I'm glad we were able to cover it. A good ghost story is what we need always on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Slaughterhouse Canyon. I like stories like where just so associated with places.
Yeah, like
Little
that's
creepy hut
just
shit.
another variation, a very creepy variation, a lot more creepy. I
Almost.
like that one more than the Conquistadors version and shit. Like that is a little bit more up my alley right there that I'm excited about. Actually starving to
visit there?
death. Yeah, that's
Let's go.
gross. Yeah, that would be amazing to go. Like hit as a vacation spot. I was like, oh, you want to stay the night in this cabin, this 2x2 room?
Yeah.
Where all of our children were murdered in. I don't know if I'd want to do that, like, in that small of a room. Like, oh, that's weird.
Kyle, did you bring me food?
Sorry, we're gonna starve to death just like her.
And there's 2 kids.
Okay, well, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode of the Curse Podcast. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure to share the video with your friends. Show some of that sluggy love. But Talis, Kylo, hopefully you guys had a good time. Thanks for investigating with me today. It was a blast as always.
Turtle you. I hope I don't get grabbed.
Yeah, well, Talis, thanks for joining. It's your first one, and hopefully you'll come back for another episode. If you guys are watching this right now, let us know, guys. like recommendations on what you guys want to hear about, like our next topic. We take recommendations. Love to know what you guys think about it. There's also a Patreon. You guys can help support us and send us on one of these trips to go do a real life investigation. The first curse podcast in a real life location. We'd love to do some real life ghost hunting investigating for you guys. But we'll see you guys later on the next curse podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Stay spooky.
So smooth.